back on this. Cleaned up a little bit this morning before I got the camera out, but basically we're gonna probably grab that. That's all sumac, which I'm allergic to, so I'm just gonna grab it with the bucket and scrape it down. I didn't really want to get that far into it, but as long as it's digging out, I'm going to try to dig as far that way to get these guys a comfortable 12. They said they only care about 8, but there's a lot of boulders in it. I think it's just fill that got dropped in here years ago, but everything seems to be stuff I can move, so unless I run into ledge I can't move, I'm going to dig right in, and then I'm going to keep putting the rocks behind me, and then when I'm done I'll put the rocks back in it to retain it. They didn't really care if I got involved with this, but again, if I'm digging down through here and I'm comfortable, these are all stuff I can move with my excavator. I'm not worried about that. It's kind of funny that they did a little wiggle to that. I don't know exactly why. It could just been they weren't worried about the width of this, because I think at one time these properties were owned by the same person. So I'm hoping that I can just get that. If I can get that back down here, should be no issues at all anyway as far as the width goes. So, and I'm actually giving some thought about just taking those rocks with the excavator, set myself up top, and just turn around and put them in that other wall. And then but we'll see. I do have to retain this when we're done, so, but I seem to be coming up with quite a few rocks, so we'll see. And I think if I have to, I can go steal some at the other end of this lot. There's a bunch of boulders I can probably sneak out of that lower wall. That's not really gonna hurt nothing. It's more important to retain this where it's hot top, parking lot up above it. So, but we're gonna pick some rocks out of this and grab the rest of that crap out of the hill. All right, we're gonna grub some of this crap out to haul down, get it out of here. But when I get to those big stumps, I should say big stumps, but the stump end of it, I'm just gonna haul it down, pitch it in the bucket. There's a lot of crap, this root system here I gotta yank out. I'm trying to pick the rocks out of it so I can use them in the wall afterwards. So. Into something terrible down bottom, I think we're going to get the driveway that he wants right on his own property. It's still going to be close, so he's it's going to be something you want the neighbor to sign on. I believe she gave us the okay to dig right close to this. So. I want to try to get this very top done so that as I take the rocks out, rather than having them all over the place and hard to work around, I'll stop bringing them up and place them in, you know, put them in place of the wall. I'm going to spend most of my day today just moving this, I believe. But later this week. I've been throwing them down out back, but I might grab the bigger ones. I hate just going. It's birds though, and I got so much of it. And some people don't like it as firewood. This is pretty much dragging. I drag them out. I like the mini excavators. They're awesome. Small tree work. I also find a lot of times it's easier to yank the whole tree out, stump and all, than cut the tree down and then grab it afterwards. Grab that other one. Let's see if I can grab some of this smaller stuff to take that with that tree when I go down. A little bit of a ride across there with an excavator. This has also got that invasive weed tangled up in it, so it's weaved into all the other trees, kind of a pain in the butt. I've actually seen that weed stop pulling down a telephone pole. I think that's the last decent sized tree we're taking down. See if that's weight wise something I can grab all at once would be nice. I gotta go home and give this thing a pretty much going through anyways, change the fluid filters. Pretty loose. Yeah, looking like it. I believe that's one of the hoses. I keep an extra one out right in the garage because I've had issues with it. Again in the morning. I brought my grease gun with me today and got about half the machine grease now. I have 2 or 3 grease guns. I thought I grabbed one and just put the new tube in, but I was wrong. Boy, that made a difference on how this opened up though. I want to see if I can grub that sumac stuff out of there, and then the rest of my day is probably just going to be moving some of this dirt down. I'm going to see what he wants to do. I think if it was me and I had boats stored up there, I'd get rid of all those. Those white birches are just going to bend over pretty much the first bad snowstorm we got, and I believe this place is going to be packed full of boats. So if it was me, I'd strip them out of there, and to separate this from that, I think I'd just put a big berm of more concerned about the width up here than they were down there, because I guess it aprons out at that end of it, which would be nice if that's the case. I've decided I'm gonna, instead of dealing with the tractor and each bucket, I'm just gonna start dumping it. And I had to go home and get some hydraulic oil for that hose that leaked. I just grabbed my dump truck. I think it's gonna be easier. Probably gonna have to move 15 to 20 loads of this down over that hill. That way I can pick through and get the rocks out that I'm gonna need. They're not too concerned about what this looks like, because they just want it literally for the winter boat storage. It's not going to be where customers go, but they're more worried about making sure it's retained. Originally I didn't want to dig right up next to that hot top, but I'm just going to put a few of those big boulders and I'm going to dump erosion stone to it, right to those. I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So far I've lucked out. I really haven't hit anything. Like I said, this was all brought in here, so. Try to dump those roots in there so they don't tangle up in my tailgate. Not going over the road with this. I got to move it about 150 yards down in the wood line. Right there. I'm gonna call it a day. Get the trees ripped out of there. Start hauling some of the. Got quite a few loads down over that bank. Got a little fussier than I thought I was gonna up here, but the way he acted the other day, if I could dig it, he wanted me to dig it as far back as I could. So. And this is the skinny end of the property line, so just taking the rocks I'm digging out of this gravel and throwing them along that hot top. Might still dump some regular erosion stone over that. I may have to put some in front of it too. It depends on what the grade's going to be when we're done. But that pink line's the property line. Gonna end up with probably a 16-foot opening up here. I just got to decide how I'm gonna have it come up on this hot top. I think we're gonna build this outside edge up with some rock. So tomorrow, grab just that root system. Sometimes that makes it a pain in the butt to get something in the bucket. Like I said, I think the bulk of my day now is going to be moving all this crap. That way he can take a better look at it tomorrow. I believe he's going to be pretty surprised where we're at, because I'm actually surprised how far into this we got myself. So basically rock picking the ground coming down this hill and just throwing it into the wall. That's what the wall is going to be made out of, is the rock that was right here. Should look all right. It's going to retain that hot top, and we're going to end up with a 12-foot opening up there, which is way more than we thought originally. I thought that was ledge sticking out at the end. It was just all rock wall put there. And then down below, this way is the same way. I don't think I'm gonna run into anything big, but we'll get back to it. Found a couple of stumps here and there I gotta pull out, so. Like that, you end up with a pile of crap. But I don't want to get into any more than I have to anyway. So put a pretty good base of 3/4 road pack on this, and then I'm going to use a product I just started using, which is called rock chip, or it's basically rock chip, rock pack, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more or less when they run into like a slag, I call it slag type rock, but when you run into it and it's lead, you can normally, even a machine this size, you can crack it, get pieces off from it, get rid of it. I call it slag rock. It just, it breaks if you bang it around. But I think it's different. Like I've had bluestone that looks a lot like this stuff. You'll see it when I put it down on here. I'm gonna start bringing it up 1 ton load at a time as I come up here to work. I get it out of the state of Maine, a guy in Maine, but to get it trucked up here, he wants to get me for an extra trucking hour. So I'm coming up here anyways. I might as well be coming up here with 2 or 3 yards on the truck, and it ain't gonna take much to do this hill. I'm only doing this hillside with it. So I'll loosen some of this up a little bit. I'm gonna keep digging it. My day, it gets kind of boring, but I was loading this in my dump truck yesterday with the excavator, but from that point down it seems to be digging out fairly easy, so I'm gonna just pick it up with the load of the bucket of the tractor. Any of the big rocks like that you'll see me set aside because I got to retain this. What I want to do is just put a little bit of a rock wall on the bottom, and then I'm just going to dump erosion stone to the top of it. But we were doing this originally just to get a pathway down through here, but I think it's actually going to look pretty good when we're done. He wasn't worried about that part of it, but I think he'll be happy with the way it's going to come out, looks wise too. So. Alright, we're back on this. I gotta move probably 8 yards here to the back side of the property. It's just my dump truck's loaded with rock chip to put on that top apron. And yesterday I was loading it with the excavator onto the dump truck and bringing it down, dumping it, but I think to move that 8 yards in. I need that area. I gotta just had a triaxle load of gravel dropped off. I want to push down off that top apron. So I want to get to a certain point today, so I'm just going to move that with the bucket. It's going to take a few trips, but I was going to bring my loader, but I need it on another job in the morning real quick to do something. So this is a state road where it's a major trucking route, so I don't want to keep pulling equipment back and forth for one day use. I'll deal with it with this tractor. Some of that that's near my excavator is going to end up right back up in that bank anyway, I think. So this is probably the last of a big amount that I'm moving. Picking through it like this too is like me, if I see some nice rock and put in that rock wall, I throw it in. So. Get that somewhat started. I didn't really want to have to waste a lot of gravel on this other half that they're not even going to use, but I also can't just dump all the water off this lot onto someone else's. So what I'm going to do is suggest we put this rock chip all the way down through on the left side. When we're done on this outside edge, I think we're going to just put some 1.5 inch stone so that the water doesn't get a run on the dirt and take it. Put 1.5 inch crushed stone in there, and it should slow down the water. It's not going to, it's going to spread it out so it won't flow in one area. But I threw that wall together. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of 1.5 inch stone in front of that wall too, instead of erosion stone. So what we're going to do now, finish out the day, I want to shelf this a little bit, because all I want to do is place some boulders along this bottom, shelf it in a little bit just so that it holds erosion stone. From this point on, I'm just going to erosion stone everything. Start putting this rock chip in. Just gonna do this hillside with some rocks and erosion stone to get it to stay there. Like I said, this is more or less to get that to retain back so they can get the boats down through here. I know this looks wide, but they only own half of it, so gaining that I'm actually gaining probably 12 feet in most places, so we're gonna dig through that and see if we can get some more rock out of it. I want to drop a few more in this bottom, and then the rest can be erosion. Not too overly concerned, but seem to be pretty happy with what they looked at this morning. So continue down through. I want to see if I can drive up in there and pop a few more of those birch trees out of the top, just so they don't push out on this wall as they grow. But I don't want to get killed doing it. But I'm pretty sure I can drive up there pretty good. Clean the window so you get a better view of where I'm at. The reason I'm not getting real aggressive up here is I'm not sure what's underneath me. It was all filled in. It's kind of like garbage fill, so. One more, and I think we're going to call it. Yeah, get the hell out of here. The last two birches are just going to lay it down. I also don't want these 5 years from now coming down and on a boat that's nervous is water runoff. With water runoff, as some people are, unless it's near a lake, we got to be super careful. But something like this, the worst that's going to happen, the driveway's going to wash out. You have to come back and fix it. But I'm pretty confident on what I do, and that's a lot of my business is pretty much dealing with the water runoff. In a lot of places, retaining wall, doing the retaining wall. But in a case like this, if you're doing I'm repairing this basically by the retaining wall of this size. There's also water. There's also, whether you want to look at it that way, but I always look at it, there's a water issue here too, because there's a lot of moisture gets stored behind these walls when it rains, and it stays there for days. So if you don't make a release in it, you can have issues. Little bugger don't want to. Close enough, I think. Trying to set these aside so when I put that wall back together. Seems like you got a lot of rock until you stop putting the wall together, and then you realize it takes a lot. Time consuming picking through the rocks like this, but like I said, I gotta have them, so I'm throwing those rocks back in that wall. Alright, that's pretty much where it's got to be. Now I just got to make the driveway nicer. The rock wall as we go down through is pretty much... They've now got a solid 12 feet on their property that they're going to be coming up over this hill with. I did gravel the other side. I'm going a thicker on this side with the rock chip, because this is the path they're going to take all the time. I'm going to also put some erosion stone on this hill to the left, and erosion stone a couple feet out away from the rock wall, because the water's still going to want to come down through here pretty hard. So, and then we'll figure out where to put it after that. But I don't think we're going to get any big rush of it. Put on a downpour or something like that, you're going to want a place for it to go to the side and run down. Over in this corner is where we're actually going to have to put a little bit of a retention pond. Calling it a day for today. Well, for here anyways. Do a quick walk around before we call it a day here. So basically I took most of that rock was in this bank that I dug out. I'm going to guess I took about 125 yards of material out of that bank to make this driveway a little wider so they can come up on their own side. It even looks wider than that because I took so many trees down, but I just wanted to retain that, and that's kind of where it ended before. I just set that back a couple feet to gain that. Down here there's probably a 22-foot apron now as far as because their property line goes out in an angle. So we gained what we had to do. Tomorrow I'm going to erosion stone that and stop putting the 3/4 gravel down And then every time I come up, I'll bring a load of that rock chip with me. All I'm rock chipping is this hillside. All down there is going to be 3/4 road pack. But overall, I think he'll be happy when he sees it. So the manager that's actually here is pretty happy with what I did. So he's going to be the one actually dragging the boats up and out of here. So this will pack nice once I put some calcium to it tomorrow. It's supposed to be a not washout, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which will be good.